if that fight was possible. I mean, this is a throw in the air type of, situation right now. So nothing's set in stone. But I mean, if I was to make a prediction now, I would probably go Trout. I'm going to have to disagree with you here a little bit. No. But I would go Trout. The only reason why I say I'd go Trout, Lara is sharp. He is definitely from the Cuban boxing world, and we know they're solid. But Trout he's a little bit of a beast. I gave him a little bit more credit after the Canelo fight. I didn't think he was as good as he was. I thought when he got hurt in the 7th round, I thought that was it. I thought when Canelo iced him with that straight right, that when he got Zab Judah legged and went down, I thought, oh, that's it. But Trout showed his versatility, hung in there, got Canelo tired. And I think Canelo Alvarez is a good pre-fight stepping stone instead of an Angulo, because Lara's last fight was Angulo, Trout's last fight Canelo. I would probably go based on the competition. I'm gonna go with Trout. He has a herky-jerky weird style, but Lara is very much the sharp counterpuncher, so I don't know. That would be a close match, but if I had to pick a pick, I'd go Trout. We're going to talk now.
Before you go to the next, I just want to make a point.
All right.
This is what we do here when we disagree with each other. Now, the thing that you said, I have to disagree with you on the Angulo thing that you brought up.
Okay.
Now, here's I think the difference. With an Angulo against a Lara, it's different from Canelo because Angulo is... He's very aggressive, comes forward, and if you watch that fight, you can see he was just, he applied a lot of pressure on Lara all night long. Mm-hmm. Canelo's a guy who won't do that.
He's prettier.
Yeah, Trout's a guy who won't do that either. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think I'm deciding to go with Lara at the end of the day, because I don't think either one of these guys are going to put that kind of pressure on Lara if he was to fight either Trout or Canelo. They're both a little bit more, kind of a back foot type fighters, you know what I'm saying? Not coming forward and head hunting and trying to knock your fucking head off like Angulo would. So that's why I would disagree with you on that. But if you take Trout, I got no problem with that because I do like Trout's style as well. He's very good, but I'm gonna go with Lara in this one.
I gotta disagree on that. No, it's fine. No, just kidding. But no, what I was gonna say about pressure, Angulo is a pressure fighter, but so was Paul Williams. And, we saw what happened there.
I thought Williams got...
You thought he won the fight?
I thought Williams got outclassed in that fight myself.
Well, it's an L on the record.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to the next fight. We're going to talk about Garcia versus Matisse, a very fun fight. This will be a fun one to talk about. And let's talk about it. I'll start this one off. Garcia versus Matisse. All right. We saw these guys' last fights. Matisse went in there against Lamont Peterson. We all know... Peterson had some problems in the past and needed a good comeback fight, but it didn't happen that night. What did you see that night? It was good. It was a good fight, but it only lasted 3 rounds.
Yeah, what I saw was one guy, Matisse, who was right now, extremely confident in his abilities and his power.
Absolutely.
And you could kind of tell from the beginning of the fight that he was just. He's like, I'm just gonna come in here. I'm gonna just blast this guy out.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm gonna just do what I do. I mean, I'm gonna get hit, but that's part of the game.
Correct.
But you could just tell he had no respect for Peterson from the gate, and it caught up to him. Man, he looked like he really rattled Peterson to me early.
Yeah,
Peterson was already out of his game plan after the first round.
He was
decided to stand toe to toe with this guy, and he paid the price for it, man.
Definitely paid the price. That's what you don't want to do. I mean, he went down in the 2nd round, twice in the 3rd round. What are you gonna do? Don't stand in front of the guy and don't bullshit. You know what I mean? If you're gonna box, you're gonna box. You gotta stay away from power punchers. Look at the record. It speaks for itself. All the boxers out there. If a guy comes in there with he's got 34-0, 32 now, but he was 33 and 31 knockouts. I mean, if you see a record like that, you stay away from the guy.
Exactly.
I mean, get on your bike. Anyways, Danny Garcia, solid fighter. I mean, coming off his last fight with Zab Judah, he had the 4-round wash of Eric Morales. I mean, the good fight with Amir King Khan. He's the biggest con in boxing ever. I wouldn't say ever. but he's pretty bad. But anyway, Zab Judah, let's talk about that fight. That was a good fight. I mean, that was, Zab is like Tyson at 50 years old. He's got 4 rounds, and that's it. And pretty much that after 4, Zab is out. You know what I mean? Like, I would see Zab fighting in a fucking alley with a bum. And if that fight goes past 12 minutes, I might go with the bum. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, man, that's a good way to put it there.
Zab is unreliable.
Zab's definitely a 4-round fighter, man. We know once he gets past a certain point, it's easy street from there if you're an elite fighter, And he's been exposed more than once on the big stage. And Garcia, took advantage of that.
Do you think he sees shades of Zoo? I mean, you know what I mean?
He might still see Kasha Zoo standing in front of him.
Yeah,
now.
like when he gets tired, I'm thinking this. When he gets like round 4 or 5, he's like, oh, my legs are getting tired. He probably sees that replay of him on Zoo. He don't want to end up like that.
Yeah, he was doing the reverse moonwalk after that right hand from Zoo.
Yeah.
But, Garcia, I really like Garcia as a fighter. To me, he's a guy who, just like Canelo Alvarez, is very young, very gifted, from Philadelphia. They're tough guys.
Yep.
But like I was saying, I referred to Canelo because every time you see Canelo come into the ring, he improves on something, just a little something every time. Same thing with Danny Garcia. I've noticed with every fight, I see something just a little bit different. But the one thing that I really, really like about Garcia is something that a lot of fighters don't have, is that he has a well-timed left hook, and it's got a lot of power behind it.
Yeah, it's sharp and it stings.
Yes, it's a game changer, man. And to me, the power between Matisse and Garcia, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but it's kind of even. What do you think?
I'm gonna disagree a little there. I'm gonna disagree, and I'll tell you why. Okay. Well, let's look at the records here. Let's just do a little thing here. Nah, we're not gonna look at the records. Actually, let's look at the records. I just noticed something very interesting here. Okay, they both fought common opponent in Zab Judah. Okay, at some point, you guys want to find out? Go look it up because I had to look it up right now. And it's interesting because on Matisse's record, it looks like they fought to a split decision.
He had a loss to Zab Judah.
He had a loss to Zab Judah in a split decision 12-rounder. And that was disputed. I do remember that fight.
A lot of people thought
my
that
God.
Matisse was robbed in that fight.
Yeah, I forgot that fight.
Me.
I forgot that fight.
But the one thing, I'm glad you brought Judah up, because that's the one thing that I think a lot of people are overlooking in this fight is that even though they thought that Zab Judah robbed him, they also thought that Devin Alexander robbed him as well. Mm-hmm. But those fights were close, man. They were close either way. Even if you thought Matisse won it, it was a close fight. Mm-hmm. So I think that that's something that should be mentioned here in this fight, because Garcia, his fight with Zab Judah, to me, it wasn't close.
Correct.
I mean, Judah hung in there. He hung tough. Had a little late round surge, but it wasn't like when he fought against Matisse. Those fights were close for a reason, and I think it was because, when Judah's good, he's got good footwork, good movement. He has a very good jab. Same thing with Devin Alexander. So little boxing things like that can give Matisse some trouble. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. That boxing and movement gives him trouble. I would also say that I believe that Zab Judah did better against Matisse, probably because he's closer to his size. He's about 5'6.5". Matisse. Zab Judah's a short guy. Danny Garcia is almost 5'9", so taller, and we might want to take that into account in this fight. You know what I mean? Because maybe that played into the part of Zab. I mean, Zab got banged.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to try to be scientific. He got served up pretty nice, and a lot of it was reach and just counter punching and just him being Zab. Just off. You know what I mean? After 4, you're out. And but time's going down. I mean, we're going on the 18-minute mark here on this video. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my quick prediction on this fight, and then we'll go ahead and go over Mr. G Funk. Quick prediction. I am going to actually go with. I'm gonna go with Matisse, man. I mean, Matisse's got more power. He's got, like you said, he's on the He's on the confidence roller coaster right now. I think he's got it going. I'm definitely going to go with Matisse. He just got more power. I think Danny Garcia is still young, 25 years old. I see him, walking into something possibly. But there's the height issue. But I'm going to stick to my prediction with Matisse.
I'm actually gonna have to agree with you on this one here. I'm gonna roll with Matisse on this one, and based off of what I had already said about the Devin Alexander and the Zab Judah type style, those guys give you a lot of movement, and that's something that Danny Garcia doesn't do. He's still real flat-footed a lot of the times during the fight. Although, like I said, he does improve on little things. Like I do like the right hand that he was throwing against Zab Judah. Before that he was just a left hook guy. Mm-hmm. So he did add something to the toolbox,
Correct.
But I just think that, like I said, he's still a little bit flat-footed, and that's one thing you don't want to do is stand with a guy like Matisse, because I do believe that he has just a little bit more power than Garcia. It's close, but I think he got a little bit more power. And if you're going to stand with this guy, I mean, a lot of people don't stand with him,
Correct.
So
absolutely.
That's why I'm going to take Matisse by maybe a late round knockout, or it could go 12.
I want to stand with him. I want to stand with. I'm Mr. Pound for Pound. I want to stand with Matisse. Send me the contract.
Let's do it. I'll be in the corner, but yeah, I'm gonna roll with Matisse on this one. Close fight though. Close fight.
I feel the same way. Matisse on this one. All right, everybody. That's part 1. Catch the part 2. We're just gonna do a quick one about Mayweather Canelo, and come back. Peace.